For more on this, we want to bring in Amy Celico, with us now. She co-leads the China team for the business strategy firm Albright Stonebridge Group. It's part of Denton's Global Advisors. As you just heard in that interview, Amy, you know, the call today between these two leaders will be very important. It'll be their fifth this year. What do you think is likely to be achieved from this phone call?
Well, I think Adam laid it out really well. The White House certainly has downplayed any expectations for concrete outcomes from this call. They've called it a no deliverables discussion between the two leaders. But as we're discussing this morning, Taiwan is a red hot topic right now, potentially around Speaker Pelosi's trip to Taiwan in August. And so the two leaders certainly will want to lay out their interests, their goals on this very contentious issue. And hopefully this leader-to-leader dialogue will prevent provocations from turning into conflict. This is such a contentious time for U.S.-China relations that there are few guardrails in place except for the two presidents, two people who've known one another for more than a decade, coming together and talking about these issues in a way that will prevent them from escalating further.
As you heard in terms of just the military in Taiwan getting ready potentially for any type of attack, I want to ask, you know, the U.S. has also started planning some military moves when it comes to Speaker Pelosi's potential visit to Taiwan for her safety. How is China, do you think, expected to respond to her visit if she actually goes there?
Well, the Chinese have said that they would have to take a forceful action if the speaker travels to Taiwan. And some of this, of course, is to try to persuade the U.S. government to prevent her from making that trip. And so some of these provocations, although they're really concerning to everybody involved, are meant to stop the speaker from making that trip. If she were to travel, as the U.S. military has said, of course, they're going to offer every protection to her. It is likely that the Chinese government will continue flying into Taiwan's air defense space as a provocation around a potential visit by Speaker Pelosi. The concern is that because this is happening in August, just a few months before a very important leadership meeting in Beijing, that President Xi needs to look tough and so take some kind of action. However, elevating this beyond provocations to the risk of an actual conflict is not good for China. Obviously, it's not good for the United States. And that is what the leaders will be talking about today.
You know, China has remained close, if you will, when it comes to the Russians and since they invaded Ukraine. Do you think that this will come up on the call today?
It absolutely will. President Biden will want to say a few things about the war in Ukraine. First and foremost, he's going to want to talk to President Xi about the global ramifications of Russia's invasion on energy security and, of course, food security. He's going to likely acknowledge that the Chinese government has not been backfilling Russia in the face of the extreme sanctions that Russia has faced from the United States and other allies. This is an area of contention between the U.S. and China. The fact that the Chinese government has not condemned Russia's invasion, nor do they refer to it as an invasion of the Ukraine. They call it a conflict in the Ukraine. And China's implicit support for Russia is an area of disagreement between the U.S. and China. However, it is, to date, has been confirmed by the U.S. government that China is not contravening those sanctions that we've put in place. And so that is one area where the U.S. and China at least have a steady state relationship. It's something President Biden will acknowledge and will push President Xi to continue to not support the Russian government in the face of its increasingly dire circumstances because of the sanctions that have been applied on the economy.
All right, Amy Celico from the Albright Stonebridge Group, we thank you for joining us this morning.